I attended a private YouTube meeting where the director of YouTube's algorithm, Todd, revealed new secrets that will honestly change everything for creators trying to blow up their channels in 2025. And here's my NDA, so let me just do this real quick. And I'm going to reveal all the secrets in this video, including one particular update with the algorithm that's completely changed the way that I design my YouTube channels from now on. And it starts with Todd explaining how the way most creators think about their uploads is fundamentally wrong.
That they think it's focused on their uploads. And it makes sense because that's kind of what you do. You go into studio, you upload a video, and the next thing you know, you're getting impressions. What triggers the algorithm actually on the homepage or on search or in, up next suggestions is when an individual viewer comes to YouTube and opens up the app or does a search. And at that time, the algorithm is turned on for that viewer. And rather than taking your upload when you upload it and figuring out, okay, well, who are we going to show it to whenever they come? Instead, we wait for the viewer to come. And at that time, we're going to try to find all the best videos for each viewer. Renee, when you show up, the algorithm comes up and says, okay, Renee's here. Let's find the best videos for Renee. And so we're going to use what we understand about you. We're going to understand your watch history of the past, your subscriptions, your likes. We're going to try to select some videos. So, there's billions of videos on YouTube, and we can't evaluate every one and still return like a ranked feed within a second. So we have to have some different techniques to do that quickly. So there's kind of 3 different ways that we find videos for viewers. The first one is kind of more like, you might refer to it as rule-based, where if you think about it, if you were the algorithm and you were in charge of getting videos for Renee, how would you go about looking up videos to recommend? Well, one thing that it does is it looks at your subscriptions. And it says, are there new videos from channels that you're subscribed to? It also looks at channels you've watched recently and before, and which ones do you watch the most, and we'll look for videos from there. We'll look at videos that tend to be performing well among people like you. So that's the first type. The second type is really about what we call collaborative filtering. And this is, I like to describe it as automated word of mouth. And we call it that because you think of what is word of mouth? Word of mouth is when somebody is telling somebody else about something they like, right? Like, oh, I just saw this movie. Have you seen it yet? And what collaborative filtering does is it automates that. And how does that work? Well, because with so many viewers coming to YouTube and watching videos, and you see how much time they spend on each video, which ones they like, which ones they don't like, which ones they abandon, and then we're able to use that knowledge and just automatically find people that are similar to you. And then the system effectively asks, well, what did, the viewers that are similar to Renee also watch?
I haven't watched yet.
Yeah. And so that's automated word of mouth, collaborative filtering. But then the third part is a lot more sophisticated, uses the cutting edge machine learning algorithms that we use with deep learning. And the best way to describe it is we're able to take everything we know about a viewer and kind of distill it down, almost like figure out a DNA, like what are the kind of latent interests, and it's trained on like billions of examples every day. And we find kind of the videos that are closest in the space to each viewer's interest.
And what you need to understand is that to determine which videos to show someone, YouTube creates something called a viewer profile for every single viewer. This viewer profile includes all of your data and history as a user, including all of the videos you've watched, your habits and how you engage with them, and all of your behaviors as a viewer. And then what the algorithm does is compare that viewer profile to all of the other viewers on YouTube, and then recommend you more videos that performed well with similar viewers. For example, let's say you're watching a video about how to grow your YouTube channel like this one right now. What YouTube will do for you is analyze and find all of the previous videos that performed really well with viewers that watched this video. And then it's going to recommend those high performing videos that it finds to you right now on the side of the page right here. And I can almost guarantee that you're being suggested a bunch of those videos right now. And this system is so smart, it really boils down to the absolute intense details. Like, you can bet if you watch a coffee video at 7 a.m. every single day, YouTube will know that, and in future days, it's going to recommend you coffee videos in the mornings. And because you're not watching those videos in the evenings, it's not going to show you them at that time. And so for creators, all this really means is you need to think about what videos your viewers enjoy, and especially think about your target audience's viewing habits and how they engage with the platform. And from there, you can design your strategy of when to upload, how often to make videos, and how long to make your content. And a good way to get some insight on the viewer profiles that are watching your channel, by the way, is to go into your analytics and look in the audience tab and see the section of channels your audience watches, as well as what your audience watches, which will show you videos. And from there, YouTube will show you the exact content that's already performing really well with your viewers. And from there, you can watch those channels and those videos and learn ways to make things better or to design content that your audience will love. And next, Todd gets into understanding of analytics and how viewer behaviors affect recommendations.
And I think that there's two primary components. One component that I think creators spend a lot of time focusing on in their analytics is performance. Yeah. So you look at your analytics, you can see what your click-through rate is, what your average view duration is. And for the most part, I imagine most of you are looking at those in aggregate across all viewers. And that is one signal that we look at. How is the video performing among everyone? But what really makes the system work well is recognizing that different viewers have different preferences, and what one person may be really excited to click on a video, another person isn't going to be as excited. And so that's where the second and more important signal than just performance in aggregate is personalization. So personalization is around using all those signals that we understand about an individual viewer and estimating, well, what is Renee going to do when they see this video? And so while when you look at your performance analytics, kind of see how it does across everyone, what the system is doing each time somebody loads a homepage is attempting to predict for that viewer how likely are they to click on each video. And each viewer is going to have a different predicted CTR and a different predicted average view duration and a different predicted lively and many other factors that we put there. And so I think this is the most important thing to understand and frame your thinking around recommendations is that, yes, there's performance and, use the analytics to see how you're doing overall, but recognize that overall performance is not going to be, how we estimate for each individual viewer. So we're gonna rank something much more highly for somebody who watches a channel regularly than someone who has never watched the channel. Yeah.
Now, to clarify what he's saying here, these viewer signals cover a whole bunch of different things. It includes things like what videos a viewer watches, how long they watch for, what they watch after finishing the current video, what they don't watch or leave early on, all the common engagement metrics like likes, dislikes, shares, and comments. But it also goes even deeper into things like what channels they binge watch or have longer watch sessions on, as well as who they subscribe to and engage with heavily, what type of day they're watching YouTube at, as well as what type of device they're watching from, what types of videos they tend to watch all the way until the end, as well as what they're searching for and the seasonality of the topic. And overall, YouTube is just trying to judge not only what you watched and how long you watched it for, but how much you actually enjoyed that content and want to see more of it. And all of these things are taken into account with recommendations and adjusted accordingly. And for example, things like horror and true crime videos probably get way more views in the late evenings, whereas motivational videos probably get a little bit more views in the morning times for people. And of course, the most clear example, shorts are way more likely to be watched on mobile devices. So just be mindful of who your target audience is and how they might engage with YouTube as a platform. And then you can tailor your content to further optimize for that audience. Next, Todd gets into discussing some different traffic sources and how they can affect your videos in a bunch of different ways.
Yeah, I want to go back to automated word of mouth for a minute, because I think that also nicely explains a lot of other questions we get. Because we'll have creators say, why did my video pop off and then die down? Why did I get another spike later? And that behavior to me makes a lot of sense, because if I watch a movie I love and I have 3 friends who I know will love that movie, I'll go tell them, And then maybe they'll tell 3 friends, and they'll tell 3 friends, and it starts to grow like one of our videos would grow. But eventually you'll reach a point where you've told everybody you know, they told everybody they know, everybody has either decided to watch it or not, and then it starts to go down again. But in the future, you might make a new friend. And then you might say, hey, like, you're talking about this movie, I love this movie. And they'll go back and watch it. So maybe like a news story comes out and people are suddenly interested in that topic, or a big creator makes a video about it and you're in suggested, or somebody starts searching for it and you figure out, oh, maybe other people like them are interested, and those videos come back to life. So like the automated word of mouth kicks in again.
Yeah, one of my favorite experiences I had with a creator was puzzled by, they had this drawing tutorial video that they had uploaded, and it was getting a few views for like several months, and then all of a sudden took off and became their biggest video ever. And they were like, what happened? Is that an algorithm change? And when I looked into their traffic sources, I saw that they were getting a lot more traffic from suggested. And when I looked at like, well, what videos were sending traffic, it turned out that there was another drawing video that had just been uploaded that was really capturing a lot of attention, and the video that this other creator had made 6 months ago suddenly had a new opportunity of a place to be recommended.
Yeah.
And that opened up an opportunity that wasn't there 6 months prior. So that's kind of like the new friend you're talking about. And so that's also why I encourage creators not to like delete videos or private videos that haven't taken off, because you never know when that kind of new friend or new opportunity is going to come along.
Can you just explain that? When I delete or private a video, I destroy the connection to the watch history for that viewer?
Yeah, that's right. So remember, the recommendations are being, powered for each viewer based in large part by the videos they've watched before. And whenever you mark a video as private, we have to, for privacy reasons, delete the information that the viewers watch that video. And so that's effectively severing your connection to those viewers. So I don't recommend you recommend you want to maintain those connections.
I think it's some great points here about deleting videos that a lot of people overlook, in that it makes those viewers lose the connection they had with their viewing history on your channel. But the interesting thing is that in some cases, you might actually want that to happen. Like say if you're completely pivoting the content on your channel to something new entirely, and you also didn't really have that large of an audience already. So I definitely agree with Todd here that deleting videos is generally going to hurt the performance of your channel. After that, Todd Beaupre talks about what you should do when starting new channels or pivoting your content.
So we're living in the age of multiple formats now. If creators want to, we can make shorts, we could make long form videos, we can go live, we can make podcasts. And I love all this because these have been media forever. Like The More You Know has been a short. Television shows, people have been live streaming on the radio during drive time for decades. Podcasts, so like all of this stuff is now available to every creator on the same channel or different channels. If it's on the same channel, how do you handle that from a recommendation point of view?
Yeah, so we have systems that work both to help viewers cross formats within the same channel. So if they've enjoyed, long form on the channel, when they go to shorts, we'll consider that they've watched that channel long form. So we have these bridges across formats for each viewer within the same channel. And we also have other techniques that work across channels, so they're not limited to the same channel, like the...
One of my favorite things, so my original channel was owned by the media company I worked for, and when I left, they kept that channel. So I had to start again. And the first video I put up, everybody who had, and I didn't say much, everybody who had watched me on the original channel found me on the new channel.
Yeah, we saw the same thing when the Try Guys left BuzzFeed. BuzzFeed never promoted the Try Guys separate channel, but what the system noticed is that people who watched the Try Guys on BuzzFeed also tended to watch the Try Guys on a separate channel. And maybe the viewers didn't even know it was a different channel. Yeah. But, I often use the analogy of, how when ants are kind of looking for food, they kind of leave a little trail and then other ants follow that trail. It's kind of the same thing that happens with signals. As viewers kind of move between channels and between videos, we create those connections and help find other viewers who are kind of looking for that same thing. But the general advice we give when creators are asking, well, should I do a separate channel? Should I do the same channel? It depends on the audience that you're trying to reach. So if you're different formats, so like whether it's shorts or podcasts, if you're intending to serve the same viewers across formats, then we just recommend that you use the same channel. It's certainly the easiest way to manage it. It's going to benefit from all those, oh, well, what channels does this person watch? Oh, well, let's see. Oh, they're live right now. Let's let them know about that. But if you're really like offering something different that you think would be a different audience, then it's probably easier for the viewers and easier for the system, just like with any brand. If you're catering to a different market, you would have a different brand.
And I love the points here. I think especially creators can be very afraid of making new channels and having to almost start over in a sense. But the reality is that your current audience can find your new channels pretty easily. And I mean, I've lived this myself dozens and dozens of times. I mean, just take a look at all these plaques that I got here in the background from all my other channels. And so if you're going to make content that targets a totally different audience or a totally different niche, then just starting on a new channel is really going to be the best option for you. Especially as if your current viewers aren't interested in the new content that you're pivoting to. If you uploaded that to your main channel, it's just going to hurt the performance of those videos, and then YouTube's just not going to show them to anyone else after that. Now next, Todd Beaupre gets into explaining a lot of confusions and misunderstandings that surround YouTube's analytics and how you can properly understand them to improve your channel.
The metrics paradox where you're like, well, my best video, it only has like 3% CTR, but my recent video has 10% CTR, but YouTube isn't showing it as much. That doesn't make any sense. And what that is usually about is the CTR and to a lesser extent, your like audience retention is heavily influenced by the audience that has seen the impressions. And so if you have let's just say you normally get, 10,000 views on a video and maybe 100,000 impressions. If you have a new video that's only had, say, 10,000 impressions, odds are that those impressions were to highly qualified viewers. Just a broad channel all the time. You just wait for that notification or are consuming in the sub speed. And so those viewers are going to have a higher click-through rate. And as videos tend to get more impressions, they reach less qualified audience. And so the CTR tends to go down. And that's why sometimes some of your highest performing videos have the least CTR because they've been able to reach those broader audiences.
Like 3% of a billion is so much more than 10% of 1,000.
Yeah. But just because you're performing really well with those highly qualified viewers doesn't mean you're performing well with the broader audience. And usually what we're finding in those videos that don't kind of break out into more impressions is that when we have sort of like collected data from viewers who are less qualified, we've seen that they're just not as engaging. And that it's sometimes hard to see that because you just see 10%.
Yeah.
But usually that's a mix of, some of those impressions have gone to more casual viewers. And then if they're just, not engaging, then it's going to limit. But sometimes there's just like topics that you make that just, how to tie a particular knot. It's like maybe there's just a limited amount of people who are going to be interested in that. And so, we really aim to only show your video to the people who are going to be interested in it.
We see that a lot of you release a video and your super fans love it. It's exactly what they want from you. They just insta-click it, but then the mainstream audience really isn't that interested in it. And that's fine. Like, you can make videos for your fans. It's what you talked about, like setting your expectations. And maybe you can change the thumbnail or title and make that a little bit more broadly appealing, but it could also just not be a broadly appealing topic. And if you care about that for your next video, figure out a more broadly appealing topic.
And this makes so much sense. Like, we find the exact same thing across all of our channels in every single niche all the time. Like, as a video gets more views, the click-through rate and average view durations are going to just plummet because as you reach a broader audience, YouTube is showing your content to more generalized viewers rather than the initial really hardcore viewers of those topics. Now next, Todd Beaupre just wanted to share his biggest advice for creators and what he thinks you should be doing with your channel.
We've been seeing lots of growth with longer videos, especially on televisions. And so be thinking about how your content will look on a television, but also framing your content. And so one of the things that we're investing in is we're seeing that a lot of viewers that are coming to us on televisions, on YouTube, are coming with a model of television show.
Yeah.
And so it's often easier for them to make decisions where they can kind of pick a show and then, come back and watch that show regularly. So while you may have a channel and they can watch your channel regularly, think about packaging your content similar to like shows and formats that are going to be recognizable to people, make it more accessible, both for them to know like, oh, well, what is the value of this channel? Like, what is it trying to do? Those formats can really help the audience
Just binge.
understand.
Yeah, just binge.
Yeah.
Yeah, so playlists?
Playlist formats, episodes, and I think some of the smartest creators in this space that are doing series are getting the best of both worlds of the individual video appeal. Don't have a series out there that has some obscure name and a video title that's like spaghetti in the dark, because I'm going to be like, well, I have no idea what that is.
I'm going to watch that video. I do understand.
Yeah. So if you do come up with a series, make sure you're titling and making the content accessible both to the viewer who's never watched that, as well as familiar to the viewer who has.
I would encourage everybody who hasn't already, go to the audience tab, see which of your videos your audience loves, and give them more of those videos to love, but also the easy things to watch after those videos that they've loved.
Yes, and one more plug for the audience tab. Look at videos growing your audience. It shows you not just what's driving your views, but it's driving attraction of new viewers who are coming back and watching your channel again. And that's where you can get a sign that they were satisfied, that you connected with your value proposition, and you're going to be driving long-term engagement and satisfaction, which is what we're all going for at YouTube.
So big thanks to Todd Beaupre for hosting this talk. And with that said, if you want to learn more about how to grow your YouTube channel, I just finished completely updating our free creator bootcamp, where I'll take you through step by step the exact process we use to grow new channels and start making thousands of dollars in just under 90 days. And so again, it's completely free. You can register at the link in the description or with the QR code on screen right here. And in that bootcamp, we're going to go much more in depth on what you should exactly do to grow a YouTube channel, much more than I could in just a simple YouTube video. So check it out. It's completely free. And thank you so much for watching this video.